Well, I'm back at Sydney Olympic Park pretending this is the first time I've been here and I haven't been here to set up all my camera gear already. A couple of weeks ago I was out photographing with my Fujinon 180 lens, Fujinon W 180mm f5.6 to give it its full name. Actually, it may have been the WS, forget. Fuji have made at least 380mm f5.6 lenses. Two of them are old single-coated versions, and one of them is a newer multi-coated version. And the interesting thing for us is, large format photographers, is that the older single-coated versions have more coverage than the newer version, the multi-coated version. I was photographing on whole plate, and link in the description below. I applied far more movement than my numbers suggested the lens would be able to cover, and to my surprise, when I developed the image, there was no vignetting. That was on whole plate, which is 6.5 inches by 8.5 inches. That piqued my interest to see whether... Now, I ended up with two Fujinon W 180mm f5.6 lenses. One's in a Seiko shutter. The other is in a Copal shutter. And to cut a long story short, I bought the one in the Copal shutter, which I thought was going to be a really nice lens, and it was a nice lens, but the shutter was broken, and it was broken in a way that I couldn't fix it. So I then bought the 180mm lens in the Seiko shutter, thinking that I could just take, which was meant to be a bad lens in a good shutter, and thinking that I was just, haha me, I had it all sorted, I was just going to take out the lens and swap the lens over between the shutters. Turns out that why don't I show you? Sorry, pardon my back. Okay, the lens in the Copal shutter, yep, this is a Fujinon W. The lens in the Seiko shutter is a Fujinon WS. I assume S means Seiko, and you'd go, well, they're about the same. I mean, they take the same front filters, right? And they look very from the front. But if you look at the back elements are actually different. See that? So they're actually, and I have measured the diameter of those lenses, and they appear to be different. Now, in case you're wondering what, the Seiko shutter needs a bigger hole than the Copal shutter, and that diameter there is also significantly different for that. Do you see that? So you can't swap them. Anyway, cut long story short, I ended up spending far too much money getting the Copal shutter repaired, which is this one, and this was the lens that I used last week. I think I need to make notes. Anyway, not realizing that there was going to be a significant difference. So what I'm doing today is I'm going to I've got an 8x10 a Toyo View 810M camera, which I will be deliberately moving the lens off center so I can see how big the vignette circle is, and then I'm going to compare both lenses and work out what the coverage is. So let me set this up. I'm shooting with the old GoPro again today because I want to use my my phone for the measure app. There we go. Move iPhone to start. Continue to move iPhone. There we go. You go to level, and then you get a level. Now that's for vertical. If you turn it horizontal, can you see that? When you turn it horizontal, you get the circles there. What I do is I put that there. Now, this is a crazy big head and tripod because it's a crazy big camera. And this tripod doesn't have a panning head on it, so I've got to basically line it up to where I want it to go. And then shoot accordingly. And then level it up once I'm done there. Okay, can you see that? Okay, let me get this level. No, this didn't get happy at all. No, didn't like it. Move iPhone to start. You've probably noticed that I'm not using a lot of music in this video. Oh, look at that level. I'm going to pretend that I meant that to happen. Yep, because I'm awesome. There you go. Anyway, this is a very big tripod with a very big head. And let's make this happen for a very big camera. I've done a little bit with this. Let's focus this. Can you? Yeah, this is where it gets tricky. Sorry about that. Now, notice we've got an awful lot of foreground there. Not very nice, is it? I'm actually going to get more foreground when I lower the lens. Oh, look at that. I've got the roof in. Now, I've got the roof in there. That's it, so I might turn it around a little bit. Now, this is a 180mm lens. And on 8x10, 180 is the equivalent of 28mm. Okay, so it's quite a wide lens, and on large format everything looks wider, primarily because you're further away from your subject, because you can't get really close with a tripod and all that. At least that's my opinion. So, okay, back to here. Yeah, I don't use this camera that often. Mainly because it's so big and heavy and hard and whatever. Now, if I do that, okay. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get sky in all this area here, so that when it vignettes, let me lower the lens. Actually, I'll do it the other way. No, let's go and see what's happening at the front, because it doesn't feel very nice. Okay, so where's my cheat sheet? My cheat sheet says this lens should have, well, 180mm is no movement. So any movement at all is going to cause problems. So now, this is in a Linhof board, and Linhof boards aren't in the center. The hole's not in the center of the board. I'm going to do a YouTube video of that. This dotted, see that mark there? That shows where the center is. That dotted line there says that's where the optical center is. Okay, that's level. It's got to be there. So if I move it up to here, I am 30mm rise, which should vignette significantly. Okay. I don't remember if you watched last week's video, the last video I put in, I mounted the lens on differently on my other camera, and I've now moved all my lenses to be diagonal on their mounts. I'm going to close it down to f32, see what it does in the viewfinder here. Viewfinder on the ground glass. Ooh, look at that, that's dark. I raised the lens. Oh, here we go. Can you see that? You can see the vignette there. See the corners cutting off? Okay. So I've got some vignette. That's good. What my goal is I'm going to just let me focus. My goal is I'm going to take 2 photos with both lenses. Now I'm just going to focus on infinity. I'm going to focus on the sign there. Not tall enough. I can't see through it myself, so that's an infinity focus there. Yep. Infinity focus. Stop it down to most large format circles. Oh, you've got my back. I'm sorry. This is going to be a crappy video. Most large format lenses, their circles are calculated at f22. Sometimes f16. Nikon's quoted a couple of f16, but most of them are at f22. Okay, let's take a light minute reading. I use a cheap loop. Okay, I've got my instant light meter. This is a Luna Pro, which is called the Profi 6 in civilized parts of the world. Always check your film speed, it's 100. This meter, you zero it here, and then you read off the meter reading. And I've got f22. Okay. f22 will be halfway between 4 and 8. And since I can't do halfway between 4 and 8, I'm going to use 1/4 second. Now, steps to using shutters are: don't change the shutter speed while it's cocked. I'm setting this to 1/4 second. You can't see that, but there you go. You're going to have to take my word for it. You might be able to see this, f22.32. So halfway between f22 and f32. This particular shutter's marked in half stops. Copal shutters are usually marked in 1/3 stops. Doesn't matter. What's a 1/6 stop between friends? And oh, look at my bellows. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, Vaughan. Ugh. Oh, that's not very nice at all. There, no, I'm going to drop that. That's a painful thing to do to my camera. It was on 35, I'm going to drop it down to 25. Because that's just a horrible thing to do to my bellows. Yeah. Oh, just do it. Just do it, Vaughn. Get it over and done with. Although I'm probably going to get... See how this... The bellows is sticking in the picture there? I may get bellows. Vignetting from the bellows. Let's have a look. Now. Yeah. This is why large format is so blimmin' slow. Of course, everything can go wrong and usually will. Now, the bellows is sticking in at the top, which means the top of the picture is going to be vignetted, which means I've got to look for it down the bottom here. And I can't see a thing. And you've got my back again, haven't you? Yeah, look, can you see there? It doesn't look like I've got bellows vignetting there, so I'm going to run with that. And I am stop down. Yeah, no, that's fine. I just don't like scrunching my bellows up like that. I am stop down. Cool. It's 22.5. Now, notice that for my 10.8 camera, I've got everything packed into the one bag. Because I got tired of carrying squilling bags around, and this bag's got a bit of room here. And I don't have that many 10.8 lenses. Anyway, so I've got a bit of room. But 10.8s, there we go. Okay, we're good to go. Because I'm testing, I'm just going to check the focus once more. Alright, this is all about getting the focus right, so I want to check whether I don't want to knock it out. There we go, done. So, close the lens, set the shutter speed, stop the lens down, 22-32. I'm going to check, I think the light might have changed. Do a test fire. When you do a test fire, make sure you can see white and then black, and that means that your shutter's closed. It is closing. Let's go here. Instant meter reading. Yeah, I'm the same. I haven't changed. See that? I'm the same. I haven't changed. And it's drizzling, but I'm fine. Okay. Let's get some film holders. Now, I purchased this 8x10 camera recently for a couple of reasons. One is, why not? Second thing is, whenever I was out with my whole plate, whenever I was out with my large format camera, people go, oh wow, is that an old camera large format? You go, yeah. They go, is it 8x10? You go, no, it's 4x5. They go, oh. So, not that I do this for other people, but you know, after a while it does get a bit underwhelming. Where's my pencil? I did pack a pencil. I know I packed a pencil. There we go, because I've got to make notes here. So this is and also this is the video blog. This is the Seiko shutter. Oh, there's somebody walking through. Shall we take a picture of the person walking through? I forgot to see where it's actually now, a quarter of a second, so they should be, watch their feet. Here we go. When you don't think a quarter of a second's a long time, but when you're watching somebody walk like that, and then when you open the shutter and here go bzzz, you realise they've taken a step. So even though they might not move fast, their legs are going to be blurred right out. Okay, I'm going to take, now I've got 3, I can process 3 photos at a time. What lens did you bring? I only bought 3 lenses new. I brought a 210 as well. So that's the first one. Now I'm going to get this. I'm going to mark this as 180 Seiko. Beauty. And by the way, to all of the people that have been commenting on my other Rich Rec videos, my last whole plate one, thank you very much. The criticism has been welcome. One person has, I mean, I've had a few thank you comments. I've also had one person say, hey, sort of, you know, the music doesn't do anything. Thank you. I agree, but I thought I'd give it a go, so I'm going to go easy on the music with this one. Another person said, why do you have so much stuff? You know, you should simplify your life if you're going to go photographing, and that way you won't need the trolley. I didn't say this in reply, but look, when you start making videos, you suddenly need more bags of stuff. That's a tripod for the phone, and all that sort of stuff. And when I'm doing a comparison thing like with this thing here, I've got 2 180mm lenses. I'd normally only have one 80mm lens, so you've doubled up. So the answer is yeah, absolutely, you're totally right. But you got to do it sometimes. But yeah, so yeah. But thank you for the comment. You're absolutely, completely right. Hopefully, now look at that. I haven't moved. Now let's talk about what I've done. I have no, strike that. Here we go. So this is a different lens. It's in a different shutter, so I'm going to have to refocus because the okay. Do you see where the lens board is there? The distance from there to the focal plane, which is like somewhere there, that's called the flange distance, meaning the flange of the shutter. And if you look at a lot of lens specifications, they'll have a flange distance listed. That's good for telling you how much bellows draw you need. So when you're designing lenses and working with stuff. So I think these lenses may, well, I just moved this back, so this has got a slightly longer flange distance, and I've just refocused. Yeah, I'm not really going to bother. Oh yeah, let's have a peek. I'm going to have a quick squeeze under here to see what the vignetting's like. Of course, I haven't moved the you know, this particular lens is in a very, very similar lens board. It's not the same lens board, obviously. They're actually both Toyo lens boards. F2230. See how this is graduated in third of a stop? Half stop's just in between the 2/3 stop markings, so you sort of get the best of both worlds with that. Anyway. Now let's have a look. I don't think this has got as much vignetting down the bottom. See that? See that? Okay, this is interesting. Anyway. And the light's actually gone up a little bit. Yeah, the light's actually gone up a bit. But I'm going to shoot it at the same 1/4 second f2232. A couple of differences with the Copal shutter. You cock the Copal shutter in the other direction and then the little lever moves back into position. Quarter second. F2232. Test fire. If you notice with some of my other videos, I'm standing there sometimes turning the thingy in the wrong directions because I've got both Seiko and Copal. And different. Okay, that's it. So here's my dark slide. This is the 180 Seiko. I'm going to slip this in. Look what I just did there. I loaded it with the exposed side on the wrong side. How did I notice? I noticed because the clip was holding it in. Plus, you check this stuff. So that's right. So make sure you don't load the right side. Large format's good because when you get something that turns out right, it is actually an achievement. It's a significant achievement. And I forgot about you again. Okay, there's nobody to walk through this time. That's okay. Here we go. 2. Close it off, lock it off. Fabs. Pencil. This is 180 Copal. Okay, now I get a third photo in my I left these here, that was cute. I get a third photo in my processing tank, a third sheet. So just for fun, I brought along with me my 210, and my 210 covers 8x10 with a good 25 millimeters extra coverage. So you can see there 20. So this lens should have no vignetting at all. I'm going to have to refocus this. 210. So see the markings I made. I'll put these markings here. See the markings, just little stickers. Yep, cool. These are what these are is printed paper with double-sided tape on the back. Right, and that's it. And you could same with this here. This is laser print, but it could be inkjet print with double-sided tape back, and the same with that there. So once you sort of start playing around with printing stuff with double-sided tape, you realize, hey, oh, this is mine too here for shift. You realize, hey, I can actually sort of do some interesting things here and make life easy for me. So here what I've done is I've put the marks here, and when I positioned these stickers, I positioned the sticker so there's about 10 millimeters of adjustment for focus. So that isn't perfectly in focus. I've still got to do a little bit of focus, but that's fine because I'm in roughly the right area. Okay, cool. That's it. I'm at 210. I'm on that. Open the lens. Okay. See that? I'm in rough focus there. I'm just going to get this over because I'm tired of, I want to get this processed because I've got stuff I want to do today. I've got some pretty girls to dance with. There we go, okay. I think it's darkened. Ooh, you know what? My eye is so good. Hasn't changed at all. So yeah, just ignore me. When it comes to exposure, people go, oh yeah, you know, I can use the That's only 16. Well, not really. Okay. Okay, step. What do I do with this? Okay. Oh, I didn't move this lens. Oh, yes, I did. I can move it around a bit more, I think. Cool. So I've got... That was a good second, wasn't it? Quarter of a second. 2232. Okay. Let's do this third film. There's a... I've talked about 4x5 and 5x7 and even whole plate. Cost of materials and stuff. I mean, obviously the larger your film gets, the more expensive it is. I'm using Shanghai GP3, which is one of the more economical films out there. The equipment gets very expensive. So for instance, but not what you expect. So, I mean, that's just a 210mm lens that you could use on 4x5. Lots of them, pretty cheap. It covers 8x10, all good. I don't have them here. It's the film holders. These film holders are $250 each. So I've got $1,000 worth of film holders there. 1, 2, 3, 4. $1,000 worth of film holders. Yeah, and that makes the camera look pretty cheap. I mean, the camera's a couple of $1,000s, but you buy a couple of $1,000 camera, and then you realise you're going to need another $1,000 worth of film holders. That's where it starts adding up. Okay, let's take this, and then I can get going. Ready, spaghetti. I'm not going to wait for anybody to come into the picture. Just going to do it. Okay, great. That's it for me. I'm going to process these. What's the time? 10. I've got to be out by 1:30. I might be able to process these, get them processed, get them on the line, and in the next couple of days I'll hopefully get this up. Let's have a look at these images on the Lightbox. We'll start with the image from the Seiko shutter. You can see there the vignetting quite clear. Remember, I had raised this lens significantly on the with the front standard to deliberately make that vignette. So normally it wouldn't be quite so bad. You can see the vignetting there and the vignetting there. This is 180mm, which has a 305mm circle, which should just only barely cover 8x10, and that looks about right. Okay, you can see that I've taped it down here, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay the two images over the top here and line them up. Well, first thing you'll notice is, sorry, excuse my head. First thing you'll notice is that they actually don't quite line up, which is interesting. But first things first, you'll notice that the Copal shutter definitely has slightly bigger, move this down to here, definitely has a slightly bigger circle. You can see that there. And you now see that sharp edge there. Let's zoom in a bit on this. Zoom in. You can use your proper words for it. Okay. See that sharp edge there? I think that's the roof of the bus shelter, which isn't visible in this picture. Oh yeah, look, yep, you can just see it there. See that sharp edge there? So it's just there. So that indicates to me that, and it's in about the same spot, that the Copal lens definitely has a slightly bigger circle. But as with everything, it is a little bit more complicated than that, because Let's zoom in a bit further. How close can I get? Okay. It's more complicated than that, because if you look here, the images are about centered on the kudos bank. But as we go to the edges, you can see that the Copal image is a little bit bigger. See that? On both sides. See that? Here we go. See that? The Copal image is a little bit bigger on both sides. Who is it? Hang on. So I'm going to line it up with this edge here. So I'm lining up these here. Boom. They're lined up. Let's get a bit of tape. I'm lining these up here. Let me unstick this. So okay, that's about lined up there. Shall we agree that's lined up? Yep. Yep. When we look over here, oh, can't see that. When we look over here, you can see that the top image is a little bit bigger. So what does that tell us? Well, that tells us that the focal length of the Copal lens is a little bit longer than the focal length of the Seiko lens. Significantly longer? Well, if we can see a difference, then it is significant. Probably 1 or 2 millimeters. It may well be in the specifications of both lenses. It could just be that it's a different design as well. So the conclusion is that I've come to is that the Copal lens actually has a slightly bigger image circle. It's also got a slightly longer focal length, which could be why it has a slightly bigger image circle. So I'll be using the Copal lens for 8x10, and I'll be using the Seiko lens for smaller formats. Thank you.